slash can cut even the frozen air in two.
You think you can keep up?
My mission is what matters, not you.
Battle 1. Fight!
Playing SoulCalibur VI is like slipping on a pair of old boots. The old characters are there, they have many of the same old moves that you're oh so familiar with, and the graphic style and the fidelity feels almost exactly as I remember it from the middle of the last generation. In a lot of ways, with the series having been on an undeclared hiatus for the last 5 years, this is as much of a nostalgia trip as Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy or Wipeout Omega Collection. That said, there are still plenty of new touches here, and if you skip the last 1 or 2 games because your brother was getting a bit too good at it and you kinda suck at fighting games, then there's definitely plenty to get used to. At its core, SoulCalibur VI has got the same style of fighting as previous games in the series. You're fighting one-on-one, all of the fighters have got melee weapons, whether that's a samurai sword, a sword and shield, a big stick, and attacking is built around horizontal and vertical attacks with these weapons. That's then backed up by kicks, you've got grabs, the ability to block, and fighting takes place in 3D arenas, with your character having 8 directions of motion, meaning that you can simply step to one side if you see a vertical slash or stab coming at you. That won't save you from a horizontal swipe of a sword though. 8 characters have been announced so far, with many of them being returning favourites. I say favourites, but alongside Shanghua, Mitsurugi, Sophitia and Nightmare you have Killick, who feels about as cheap as ever with his stupid poking stick. He can, of course, be countered by someone that knows what they're doing, but he's a character that grates and delights in equal measure, depending on if you're going up against him or using him. I'm sure that's part of his inherent design. We also have Zasalamel and Ivy, who have both been confirmed but weren't available in this build to play. However, the new addition is Gro, with a double-edged sword that he sweeps around him in acrobatic Darth Maul-esque fashion. He's an interesting new character, and there's definitely a little bit of Killick's long-range attack about him. The 2 arenas available in this build showed off this good-looking game, having been built around Unreal Engine 4 this time around. One battle took place in an opulent white Greek setting that wouldn't have looked out of place in older God of War games, you know, back when he was murdering all of the Greek gods, while the other one is in a much more Arctic setting, set with a deep cavern behind and ice flows on the other side. Wrapped around the core combat are a number of different new and returning special moves. One of the biggest is the returning critical edge system, which is very similar to the last entry in the series. It lets you unleash a powerful string of attacks in a dramatic, cinematic style, and you do this with just a pull of a trigger. Of course, you have to time it right and land the attack, but several big chunks of health get knocked off your opponent if you do, but it thankfully doesn't take things too far in how much damage it knocks off. You do have to earn a critical edge by filling up the critical gauge, and this builds up over time as you land attacks, with it displayed in the centre of the HUD at the top of the screen. You're able to store up to 2 full critical edge attacks, but you can also use this meter to perform less supercharged brave edge attacks. To ensure that there's some epic showdowns and the possibility of an underdog making a big comeback in the match, losing 2 rounds gives you a bonus critical edge charge. The key new ingredient though is the reversal edge, and this is a dramatic addition that triggers a dynamic camera angle again and a flashy, cinematic, slow motion strike between the 2 characters. It's a counter-attack of sorts, but throws you into what's effectively a quick round of rock, paper, scissors. You've got the vertical, horizontal and kick attacks at the 3 corners of this particular triangle, and this makes it an intriguing leveler, as you have to effectively gamble on what you think will work and what your opponent is going to do. Alternatively, you can simply choose not to gamble. You can try to dodge out of the way or even block to avoid incoming damage. Beyond that, you have lethal hits that can knock characters up into the sky and are often a key part of knocking parts of their armour off in an amusing fashion. I mean, how exactly do you knock off Sophitia's boots and socks without breaking her legs at the same time? And you shouldn't be too surprised if you manage to see Mitsurugi's traditional fundoshi underneath his samurai armour. There's also the returning Soul Charge, which has been missing in the last couple of games, and this comes to supercharge a character's attacks for a short time while also changing their appearance. Killick, for example, gets big, huge, wavy hair and takes on a much more demonic appearance. It might have been half a decade since SoulCalibur V, but 6 feels like a good step forward for the series. There's a good mixture of the old and familiar alongside the new and overhauled ideas that should help to spice things up, with the Reversal Edge in particular a fascinating new addition. Of course, fans of SoulCalibur are probably just going to be glad to have a new entry in the series at all, especially because it's now on the latest generation of consoles. We're looking forward to seeing a lot more of SoulCalibur VI, with a release planned for sometime this year on PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Windows. And I'm looking forward to getting some practice in so I can finally start beating my brother again. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and please do like, subscribe and share it if you have done. You can also come visit us over on the6axis.com, and hopefully we will see you again soon. Goodbye!
Battle 3. Fight!
Leave! You will be erased! It ends here! Curse your weakness.
I won't hold back.
Leave! Well, what now?
It's over. How's another? It's over. How's another? Excellent. No complaints here.